Turn our attention to Tanzania. January Makamba is a young Tanzanian politician with presidential ambitions. He did contest this year in a crowded pool of Chama cha Mapinduzi, that is CCM presidential hopefuls, and made it to the shortlist of the party's final 5 candidates. The current Deputy Minister of Communication in Tanzania is campaigning for re-election to his Bumbuli constituency, but he is also a key member of the John Magufuli's presidential campaign secretariat. KTN's political editor Ben Kitili talked to Makamba earlier today. This is what he had to say.
It is less than 2 weeks to the elections. What is coming from the campaign trail? How confident are you?
No, we're very confident. Since the beginning of the campaign, we've managed to mobilize our members and party followers. We've got a very good candidate who is energetic, who speaks to the people's issues, and who offers hope for a better Tanzania. We are seeing a large turnout in our rallies, and increasingly the momentum is on our side.
The candidate that is maybe the main rival to your candidate, John Magufuli, that is Edward Lowassa, is the former member of CCM. His departure, how has it affected your campaign?
He, took a handful of, our members who had lost in primaries anyway. But when he went there, the Secretary General of the largest opposition party resigned because of his arrival. The chairman of and longest opposition activist, very respected Professor Ibrahim Lipumba, resigned. So the casualty of Lowassa's departure from CCM is actually the opposition, and not because of departures of these opposition leaders, but also because the opposition decided to, in picking him as its candidate, decided to give up on a very important issue, which is corruption. This election was going to be on an indictment on CCM's corruption, because for the past 10 years, opposition really grew and managed to mobilize popularity on the basis of corruption issue. And whenever they pointed to CCM, they always pointed to Mr. Lowassa as the poster child of CCM's corruption. So when you pick him as your candidate, that means you give up on a very critical issue. So it's very interesting in Tanzania now that the opposition is having difficulties talking about corruption.
Then there was the departure of former Prime Minister Frederick Sumaye, and in the last 1 week, veteran politician Kingunge Ngombale. How big a dent have those, especially the last 2 departures, left on the CCM party?
As for the former Prime Minister, we know that he has been irrelevant in Tanzanian politics for the past 10 years, and he doesn't command popular support, and therefore we don't see it as an issue. Obviously, he's helpful to them as far as helping out their candidate to speak in rallies, whenever he doesn't manage to speak for a long time. So he's there, as a wingman. As far as Mzee Kingunge Ngombale Mwiru, that was a surprise because all his life, he's been in CCM. Actually, he's a founder of TANU, so he's been in politics for over 62 years. So all the good things about CCM he's part of, and all the bad things about CCM he's also part of. Now, for the majority of younger people that you were talking about, as to what extent, they will see him as a symbol of change, that we don't believe, that is the case.
You are a presidential aspirant for the CCM party. You managed to make it in the top 5. A lot of holes were punched in that nomination exercise. What is your take on it?
The nomination process was set up in 1995, and it hasn't changed an inch. It's exactly the same process. You fill out the forms, we go through the party structures, they shortlist 5 people, you go to a vote, you get top 3, you go to another meeting with our Congress, you get 1 candidate. Nothing has changed. Much as we respect very much the Kingunge, I think he ought to be honest that you know, what is happening here is that his candidate did not go through, and you know, that's precisely the reason that he chose to follow him wherever he went.
The same studies have shown that the older people of Tanzania, the more, you know, conservative, who are the better voters anyway, support CCM, while the younger people are supporting the opposition candidate Lowassa, and there are more young voters registered by the National Elections Commission. You know, how does that play out?
Obviously the margin is bigger for people above 50 and women. So one might presume that because the majority of voters are younger, therefore we may have a problem. That could have been true if we were losing in that particular group, but we are leading even amongst young people. The key thing for us is to turn out the vote, to get our supporters excited to go on the polling day, and that depends on how the poll is organized and how peaceful that day is. So that's why we continuously insist that election be peaceful, so that people can you know, feel safe to go and express their will.